Thank you, Penny. It's an honor to be here as a fellow warrior and a fellow member of Concerned Women for America. I've been a member since back in the 80s and so proud to be with a group of conservative women that put forth the truth and stand for the right of life and stand for family and are proud of it. And as Anne-Marie Burkle said, I'm just so honored to get to be one of the new pro-life women. There's the largest group of pro-life women now in Congress than ever before in history. There's 8 of us elected. And it is an honor to be here and speak up for the women who aren't represented by a certain person who became speaker a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago, I guess. But anyway, who stood up and when she was given the gavel and talked about breaking the glass ceiling and how she represented women, and I just looked at the TV and I thought, you don't represent me and you don't represent most of the women in America. So, Wasserman Schultz does not represent women in America. And we need to make our voice heard, and I'm just thankful to be here among the largest pro-life class of freshmen ever in Congress, and to be doing the will of the American people who believe in the Constitution, who believe that we have basic rights given by a creator, including the right to life, and that we have to change course as a nation. So I'm glad to be here, and I think that we bring our life experiences with us, and including in that, besides being a wife and mother, I was a teacher. That's my background for many years. And I believe in knowledge, and I believe in the truth. And I believe that the truth will set you free, and that knowledge changes people's minds, it changes their hearts. And I know that it had that effect in my life, and in the experiences I've had with different students I've had. Roe versus Wade came down when I was in the 6th grade. And I was a little farm girl from Archie, Missouri. We had 38 in my graduating class. And I remember hearing about it, but I didn't know that much about it. I don't think my parents talked that much about it. We were just trying to make a living on the farm and things. But I remember a girl in the hallway once caught me soon after that. And she said, well, what do you think about abortion? And I'm like, I don't know. And she said, well, do you think that a woman should have the right to decide what to do with her own body? The government shouldn't tell her what to do? And I said, well, yeah. And she said, well, you're pro-choice then. I said, oh, well, okay. And for the next year or so, somebody asked me, what do you think about abortion? I said, well, I think I'm pro-choice. And it didn't feel quite right about it, but I didn't have much information. I didn't have much facts. And then, my freshman year in high school, I took a home economics class in a child development unit, and for the first time saw pictures of the various stages of the developing baby. And when I got that knowledge, got that information, and looked at that, then it struck me what abortion really does. And it ends the life of a baby that has a beating heart, and has fingerprints, and can hear, and all that stuff. I thought, oh, I don't like abortion. I guess I'm pro-life. I'm not pro-choice. And that changed my opinion, changed my mind. And then when I was a teacher, I grew up and became a home economics teacher myself. And fast forward several years, and I was having my planning period one day, and there's a knock on the door, and a student I'll call Pam came in, and I covered several classes, and she had a friend who I'll call Debbie. And she said, can we come in and talk to you a minute? And I said, sure, And she said, we were just wondering if you had some pictures of what a baby looks like, different stages, because you teach child development, and could we look at them? And I said, sure. So I went and got those pictures, and while I did it, Pam shared that Debbie was 4 weeks pregnant, and that she'd gone to Planned Parenthood the day before, and she had asked a question. So parents had taken her, and they wanted her abortion. So she asked a question. She said, well, what does it look like? And the nurse at Planned Parenthood said, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a blob of tissue. Don't worry about it. Thankfully, she had enough check in her spirit or something that she wasn't convinced. And so she shared with her friend about it. Her friend said, hey, let's go talk to Mrs. Hartzler. When I laid out those pictures, she looked at her eyes got about this big, and she said, that's not a blob of tissue. That's a baby. Oh, I said, yeah, it is. And then she asked me a question that still resonates in my ears. She said, Mrs. Hartzler, why would they tell me that? I didn't have an answer. But that was my introduction to Planned Parenthood. And my conviction, it's only been strengthened through the years, that they don't care about young women. They care about money.
That's
making
exactly
money.
right. That's exactly right.
And it's time that we defund them permanently. As part of that knowledge, I want to build on a couple things that Trent said. And what an amazing leader. But about knowledge and the use of words and how important it is. When I ran for state representative, I went to a pro-life candidate forum. But they gave us some better words. And I look back on my experience when I was 6. And instead of the girl asking me, well, don't you think that a woman should have the right to do with her body what she is and the government shouldn't? Instead of that, if she had asked me, well, do you think an expectant mother should have the right to take the life of her child? Think how differently I would have answered or react. And so now, ever since then, and I would encourage you, use the right language. She is an expectant mother. She's not a woman, and it's a baby. And it's taking the life of a baby. And so we get the language out. It's so important. But since we are here this year, we've been able to do some historic things, but not near enough. But we have had a lot of encouraging things. We were successful in defunding Planned Parenthood for a while. Then the Senate and the President, a bunch of stuff. But that was the first time that ever happened. We were, for the first time, were able to defund, make sure no tax dollars go to pay any abortions in this country. And that was historic. We were able to make sure that Obamacare doesn't use tax dollars to advance abortion. So we passed some significant pieces of legislation in the House, and we're trying to fight back on every front because I agree totally with Trent that we have the most pro-abortion president in the White House in history. And if he's not stopped, it's going to just continue to go on, and we can't let that happen. He's trying to use, obviously, to coerce foreign countries to have abortions. And we have co-sponsored a bill to defund the UN Population Fund. We need to make sure that that's and the conscious rights of our medical protectors or medical providers are under attack, and we have got to stand strong for them. There's several pieces of legislation. One of them passed, but then the Senate rejected it. But we're going to continue to do that, and I think this week or last week's ruling by Kathleen Sebelius, Health and Human Services, further emphasizes the reason that we have got to speak up for the conscious rights of not only medical providers, but religious institutions. And don't let the federal government trample on basic religious freedoms in this country. So we're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to spread the truth and the knowledge and try to push back on what this president and his administration are doing. And I'm just honored to fight with you on behalf of life. I know that you're going to continue the good fight, and I firmly believe that as we stand together, and as we pray together, and as we work together, victory will and life will prevail. So thank you.